The question is WWE gonna be bigger than ever before?
Yes.
This is huge stuff, and we will get into it, but before that, we've got to do fact of the day. Page number 277, fact number
1.
Women make 25% of the films in Iran, compared to 4% in the US.
I don't know what that number looks like these days.
Hey, NarendraTheComic here.
Nonsense.
Yes, and right now we're going to be talking about WWE on Netflix, because they just dropped this big-time documentary called Mr. McMahon, and it was balls to the wall. As someone who's learned about the wrestling business, the history, the law, all the things that come with it, they did a good job in portraying his life with about 80% accuracy. I do believe it was a little bit of a hit job, but that's just me.
Well, so here's the thing, right? As someone who doesn't know the most about Vince McMahon going into this, I'd seen the clips, you know, him sliding into the ring, him throwing his knee out, him being shaved bald by Donald Trump.
Big boy.
Those big moments, they have cemented themselves in culture and in meme culture. But I didn't really know anything about Vince McMahon other than he was a rich guy who had something to do with WWE. Coming out of this, I feel like I know a little bit too much about Vince McMahon. To be completely honest, there's a lot about this man where you start to question whether life is imitating art or art is imitating life.
Blurring those lines.
All I can say for certain is this man had a mind for business and had a mind for wrestling, like no one else. His personal life is his personal life. There are some issues going on there, but the fact that there has been this structure in WWE because of Vince McMahon and what he's given to the business and created around the business, it's pretty incredible.
And I think this really does shine both a positive and negative light on wrestling. More so negative because of all the stuff that happened in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. But I do feel the space is different now. There's a lot more to do with the wrestler's health, mental and physical.
Yeah, that was one thing I was so surprised by. The idea that in the past, wrestlers were wrestling 6 days a week. Every single day, driving from place to place, sleeping in their cars, sleeping in motels, while still having to maintain these figures. These guys are absolute Adonises. They're absolutely mahoosive. And then they're doing these feats. And alongside these feats, there are these storylines that are created. Wrestling is somewhere between soap opera, athleticism, and pantomime. Because they're not just creating characters. They're creating these larger-than-life characters that are then interacting with the fans. And now that is online, but traditionally, it's actually in the arenas. That is what gets people invested. That's where you make the money.
The thing that WWE does better than anyone else is the fact that they mirror society in ways I never even noticed when I was a kid. But as I grew up in the early 2010s, I went, hang on a minute, there's something happening here. I remember there was this character called Zeb Coulter, and he had this concept where he used to say, "We the people," and then the audience would also say it back to him while carrying a Gadsden flag, which is the "Don't Tread on Me" libertarian classic flag. But I watched that in like 2013, 14, 15, and I said, there's something happening here in America, because the audience is way too into this for this not to be something that people are actually thinking about, either consciously or subconsciously. And then 2015-16 happened, the T-Man comes in, we had great memes, and then shit hits the fan. But now, we got stuff back now, and let's see how that goes. Also a Hall of Famer. DT, Hall of Famer in the WWE.
If anything, WWE has had the pulse of society under their fingers for so long. And that's why when people dislike this art form, you know, they take the piss out of it. One, you're disregarding the amount of time that these entertainers and the staff surrounding these entertainers work. No athletes are working the sort of hours that these guys are working. And now, because of Vince McMahon, the idea of a family life is possible whilst being a wrestler. The idea of their mental health, their cognitive health is now being taken care of in a different way.
But that may have only been because certain things happened which pushed him into a position where he had to look at these things, but he still did it. He could have left it even longer. He could have left it decades. But in the end, he did the right thing after doing the wrong thing for many years. And that's the thing about people. I may not agree with him on a lot of things. No one is perfect. He might be very far from perfect. And I wouldn't have done the things he's done. Maybe he's not a good guy. Maybe he's not. But what can I do? No one is really a great person, and no one is perfect.
And I think also you have to remember, you can separate the art from the artist.
Even if what he did is wrong, which it was.
And if you like a product that's being put out and the heart behind the product, where you're trying to give people some hope in their lives, you think about wrestlers, and the one thing I think about is the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The amount of time they spend seeing kids who aren't well, trying to give hope to individuals who really don't have much. They give all of their time and their energy, and their bodies are on the line. And you can dislike the man McMahon, Vince McMahon at the top of that. But when you look at the service that's being provided to an audience, it's like nothing else.
It's the best value for money in entertainment there is out there in terms of on TV. When you actually go to the events, we've been to a WWE live event, Money in the Bank last year. It was insane. One of the best times of my life. Bombastic, crazy, fun. Everything was happening all at once. And I will never forget going to that event.
Thinking about it, I'm getting goosebumps because I've never seen a crowd like that. This wasn't an organized thing where chants had already been pre-decided. In the moment, the music starts to roll and everyone just erupts. It was like an actual volcano and I was there, sat in the bubbly. It was wild.
You were singing along. That's the great thing. I think that was specific to the UK crowd. America isn't like that in the same way, but Brits go hard. Brits go nuts and the wrestlers know it and they love it and they appreciate it. So WWE is indeed coming to Netflix next year. Monday Night Raw is on the platform and that's why I believe wrestling is gonna be huge. It's gonna be bigger than ever before. Layman's are gonna be popping in saying, what the hell is this? Oh, I never really liked this as a kid. People used to make jokes out of it. What are they doing? What on earth are they doing in that ring? Crazy shit. And that's why it is top tier. As long as they tell good stories. They start telling bad stories, I'll say it. But like, as of now, they're doing a good job.